This is the presidential motorcade for the newly elected president of Liberia, George Weah. And this is one of his escorts telling us that we're not allowed to take pictures. Are you kidding me? No one is going to believe that I saw a presidential motorcade in Liberia if I didn't have a picture. So I went and hid, and... Welcome to part 2 of my thrilling adventure to Liberia. I know that a lot of you are asking if I was able to meet Joel when I was over there. If you're new here, Joel was a guy that reached out to me a year ago and asked me to send him some used electronics. So I said, I'll give you something better, a job. So I sent him a camera and had him take pictures of the country. Together we published a book that has sold thousands of copies that's helped Joel and hundreds of kids in Liberia. And so I traveled to Liberia to meet my business partner who made it all possible. But before I could meet Joel, there was one thing that I needed to take care of. I was informed about a school in rural Liberia that was in need of help. It was dry season and they weren't able to water their crops. So my little team set off on a journey into the jungles of Liberia to make a special delivery and help them become one step closer to self-sustainability. This is Esther. She and her late husband established the school in Bong County, and she came along to show us the way. And leaving Monrovia was like traveling back in time. The crowded streets turned to primitive villages. This was like nothing that I'd ever seen before. The roads became more treacherous as we made our way deeper into the bush. We crossed sketchy bridges that no car should be crossing, and we hit so many bumps that I wondered how much more our car could take. I felt like I was riding the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. Only this ride was 4 hours long, and there was no guarantee that we'd survive. Well, we made it, and we're alive, but this view might just be worth it. The scenery was breathtaking. Can you believe people live out here? Some of these kids walk 2 hours to school every day to learn reading, writing, and basic trade skills.
When we plant this one,
the school's principal showed us where they've been planting rubber trees. Rubber is tapped from these trees and then sold down in the city and distributed all over the world. The tires on your cars could very likely come from one of these remote African villages. But these trees were dying because they weren't getting enough water. So we donated a gas-powered pump, so they'll be able to pump water from the well to where the trees are growing.
We want to say
1, 2, 3, 4.
thank you to you and your friend Joe and the team that came with you. This water pump will be used to further our agriculture program. It will even be used when we're building. Instead of holding water on our head, they can bring it and just pump it. You don't know how easy you have made our lives. We really, really appreciate it.
Esther and her team were incredibly grateful. And you know how Liberians show their appreciation. Okay, Esther, what are we having for lunch today?
We're having palm butter and country rice.
Despite what you think, this food was delicious. But don't ask Matt what he thinks, because what he's not telling you right now is that he's incredibly sick and he's been having terrible diarrhea. But you know the rule.
Oh, it's been a long time since I tasted palm butter. Good.
How are these kids in Liberia so perfect? They're beautiful, they're polite, they're just the best people under the sun. I could have stayed and played with these kids for hours, but Joel was in Monrovia and he was expecting me. Now this is where things get really scary. We had a 4-hour drive on the world's most dangerous road in a car that was barely running. I didn't even know a car had this many warning lights. I knew things were serious when the car started emitting a high-pitched ring.
None.
I was freaking out. I thought that the engine was about to go, but apparently these guys weren't too worried. Soon I started smelling gas. We had to be leaking. And sure enough, within a few minutes, we were stranded. Yeah, we broke down. We're in the middle of nowhere and we broke down. There's some kids selling a dead gopher over there. That's most likely going to be our dinner. Nightfall would be here before we knew it, and this is how we were going to spend the night, in the middle of nowhere, eating gopher meat. You know, I just don't have a lot of footage to share with you from those few hours that we were stranded because I just thought, what's the point if I don't live to share it with you? I literally thought that this is how the story was going to end, with your hero starving to death in the jungles of Liberia. I cannot give our driver John enough credit in the story, but he is the real hero. John was able to hitchhike into town and return with just enough gas to get us to the next gas station, which was just enough gas to get us to our hotel. I don't have any explanation for you for how we survived that day, but the Liberian people, they have a saying for that. Well, the time had finally come for you and for me to finally meet Joel, but how are we going to find him? It's not like he had a house with an address, so we couldn't just use Google Maps. John could take us to the general area, but from there we'd just have to do our best. And as we got to Joel's community, something felt familiar to me. I recognize this from some of the videos and the pictures. Joel lives just down that alley. I know this neighborhood. I've never been here, but I know it like the back of my hand. I'd never been to Liberia before, but I had been down this path. I'd never been in this neighborhood, but I knew which house was Joel's. And that guy, sitting right there, I recognized. Like we'd known each other for a year. We had never met, but we were business partners, and we were friends. Joel's customers and my viewers had made it possible for us to finally meet. I asked him to show me around.
Help me get a new roof, brand new roof.
He was so proud of the new roof that he was able to install thanks to the proceeds from the books. His kids, who were so cute, were now enrolled in school. I asked Joel if he had the original camera that I'd sent him, and there it was. Well, that's amazing. Do you ever use this anymore, or do you just use your phone?
No, I use the phone.
You better keep that. It's a memory.
Yes, a memory.
Yeah.
I memorize it.
And he kept a copy of the book to remind him what had made it all possible. People from the village who had benefited from the Christmas gifts came to express their thanks. Business owners who had received loans were there to greet me. I thought, is this real life? This just started with me responding to a crazy message on Facebook from a guy named Joel in Liberia. But here we were, visiting schools together. We saw the orphanages who benefited from the clothing. I saw the places and the faces from the pictures Joel had sent. And I promised myself that as long as people watched these videos and as long as people supported Joel and I would continue to give back. I told Joel that he had a lot of fans from all over the world, and I asked if he wanted to say anything to you. What are you going to tell him?
Well, I want to tell them that really I appreciate, everything that they have done. The patronage of the business, I appreciate it very much. I'm here, I'm not a scammer. I'm just someone who just believes in helping, and I was in need, and God sent a band to assist me.
Sometimes in life there will be people like Joel, who will find themselves in places where nobody will or even can help. And that's when God will search the entire planet for a heart that's willing and maybe even crazy enough to enter into a situation with no guarantees. And when He does that, who will He find? Will He find you? Will he find me? I think that if you take a chance on someone, maybe you'll find something too. And you'll treasure it the rest of your life. Okay, 1, 2, 3. By the grace of God. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to those of you who have been here from the beginning. This has been a crazy journey and I appreciate you going along with me. Though this series is over, the story is not, and there's going to be some exciting developments, so I hope that you subscribe and stick around. I just want to say thanks to Tomahawk DIY. This is a YouTube channel who teaches you how to do stuff, and any money that he makes, he gives it back to good causes, like this one. We were able to buy that pump for that village with his generous donation, so go ahead and give him a follow. I just want to give a couple shout outs to my friends Jay and Kira for giving me the guts to go to Liberia. I want to thank my friend Stephanie in Arkansas for your faith and prayers that got me home safe. I want to thank Tim, Lacey, and my wife and my little girl who let me do this. And most importantly, I want to thank you guys for watching, for donating. You have made it all possible. So I thank you for being here with me. There's more to come. I will see you next time.